All right. So we have number 6. It's a positive slope. It's going uphill. Okay, we have our points. To go from this point to this point, we're going up 2, and how many over? 2. So my top number's 2. My bottom number's 2. What is up with that? What's 2 divided by 2? 1. So in reality, the real slope is up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. You see how it's staying on the line every time? The slope is positive 1. That makes sense? Like I said, you're going to have plenty of time in class to do some of these, and if you have questions or find that you're not understanding something, we'll be able to help you. And it's also on the video. Okay, let's go to the back. And the good news about this first part of the back is you've actually already done 3 of these. It just doesn't look like it, okay? This looks very different. But if you look at the front, actually before we do, what I'm going to do, I'm going to rewrite my ordered pairs in a table. I have an x of 9 and the y of 4 that goes with it. And then I have an x of 7 and the y of 12 that goes with it. Now, if you've just realized that any 2 points you can rewrite in a table form, then basically you're just doing this, what we already did. You're just doing how much is that changing? Is it a positive or negative change? And then it's y change divided by the x change. That's it. So we're going to do it right now. So I go from 4 to 12. It's going up, so that's a positive change. How many did it go up by? 8. And then here, it again went down from 9 to 7, so it's negative 2. My change in y is always the top part. My change in x, the bottom part. 8 divided by negative 2 is what? Negative 4. My slope is negative 4. Okay, we're going to do the same thing here. Take your time when you're writing these in a table. Remember, it's x on the left and the y that goes with it on the right. Don't do anything weird like 6 and then 20 below it. You'd make x's out of both of those numbers, and that's not how it works. My x is 5. The 18 is the y that goes with it right here. Okay? Once you have that, you can do it just like the first examples again. From 20 to 18, is that a positive or negative change? So it's negative 2. From 6 down to 5, that's negative 1. But look what happens. When I have a negative 2, I divide by negative 1. What do I end up with? Positive 2. So that's why it's important to keep track of your sign rules. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. That slope is positive 2. If you were to graph this line, it would be going in an uphill direction. It doesn't mean a positive slope line doesn't have any negatives involved. It means the overall trend is that way. Okay, last one of these. 0 is my x and 70 is my y. 3 is my x, 100 is my y. From 70 to 100 is a positive change. How many? 20? 30. 70, 80, 90, 100. Okay? And then here, 0 to 3 is a positive change of 3. You always put the y on the top, right? My change in y divided by my change in x. 30 divided by 3 is 10, so my slope is 10. Make sense there? Okay, we're almost done with the notes. We have covered finding slope from a table, from a graph, and then from ordered pairs, or just points. And we found out that the points is pretty much the same thing as a table because you can make your own little table. Now we're going to look into finding slope in a word problem. Verbal situation. Okay, but we're going to go into more than just slope. I'm going to give you a kind of a head start on finding the independent and the dependent. Which one is x, the independent or the dependent? Which one's Dixie? Independent is Dixie, so this is x. Dependent is Roy D. That's what the D in Roy D stands for. That's the y. Okay, do you guys remember? This is kind of embarrassing. Do you remember how to pee? I know. What does that mean? What does the math version mean? You're looking for the words per, each, and every. Those words help you find the slope. Is it 100%? No, but it's about 99%, okay? It's very helpful. For example, number 10, here's the word per. The number closest to the word per, 12 miles per hour. 12 is my slope. Let's go ahead and jump down to 11 and define the word per, each, or every. You see it? Airplane is flying at an altitude of 20,000 feet. It begins its descent into San Antonio Airport at 50 feet per second. Which number is the slope, the 20,000 or the 50? Which one's right beside the per? The 50. That's my slope. These words can help. But there's more that these words can help you with. Do you remember which cow's on top? Roy D or Dixie? Okay, I'm going to show you. When you have the word per, each, and every, you can actually write a word fraction. And if you can write the word fraction, it gives it right to you in the problem, then you know which one is the dependent because it's on top, and you know which one is the independent, which is on bottom. What's my word fraction here? Miles. The word per is my fraction bar, and hours is the bottom. Miles per hour. Here it is on number 11. Feet. Per is the fraction bar, and seconds is the bottom. In both of these, the Roy D, the dependent, is always the top of your word fraction. So miles is my dependent. Hours is my independent. And you could read it this way. The number of miles that Crazy Ron goes depends on how many hours he's been running. You see that? Miles per hour. Miles is dependent, hours is independent. This one, feet per second. The feet is my dependent. The seconds is my independent. You could read the dependent statement as the number of feet the airplane has flown depends on how many seconds it's been flying. Okay? Now that we have that, let's go into the equation. When we're talking about equation for these, we're talking about y equals mx plus b. For Crazy Ron, we know his m, we know his slope, it's 12. Y equals 12x. What is Ron's starting point? How many miles did he run before he started running? 0. So if you wanted to put a b, it'd be 0. You don't have to, but if you needed to, it'd be plus 0. This one's a little more tricky. Think about the situation. Imagine the airplane. What's it doing? It's landing, right? So I have y equals mx plus b. Where did the plane start? 20,000 feet up in the air. And we already know the slope, it's 50, but here's the problem with it. We have the number, but what are we missing? Okay, we have the number in the x, but we're still missing something. And what's happening to the plane? It's negative because the plane is descending. Yeah, it's landing. So the only thing you still have to remember is catch any other vocabulary in there that's telling you about the sign of your slope. It may not be real evident. So that's negative 50. Make sense? Let's pass out the homework.